What's good? It's your boy Fanon. Welcome back to the channel. I am going to talk about Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade talking that good stuff. As we know, Demetrius Andrade is going to be fighting for the vacant WBO title against Walter, somebody who I do not know how to pronounce his name, and a 17-0 fighter out of Namibia, Kantu Dukwa. I do believe that's how you pronounce his name. Now, this is a cat who's 17-0 with 16 knockouts, so he's a big puncher. And, you know, when you're in there with a guy that's, they can punch, anything can happen. I do believe this will be the first time that he has fought outside of Africa. And I am looking forward to the fight. Now, that said, I would have rather seen the Demetrius Andrade versus Billy Joe Saunders fight. Of course, we know that Billy Joe Saunders popped dirty, vacated his belt, and now Demetrius Andrade is going to get his shot at the WBO middleweight title against Walter. So I'm looking forward to it. But Demetrius Andrade, of course, has to throw some salt at the Charlos. And he throws salt at the Charlos in a way that, to me, doesn't make any sense. But I'll go through what he said, and then I'll talk about it. And then at the end of the video, I got a message for an Uncle Ruckus. But it ain't going to be worth doing a whole video, and I'll put it at the very end of this video. I thought about whether I was going to do it in a whole video, but I said, nah, let me talk about a real boxing subject, and then just for the sake of doing it, maybe in the last minute and a half, I might get into that. So let's go through what Demetrius Andrade said about the Charlos, but I'm going to say it right after I thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the subscribers. Thank you for subscribing and watching the channel. Thank you. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know when we drop more videos. And thank you to everybody that supports the channel. We put commercials in the channels. Thank you very much. I know that can be kind of, nerve-wracking sometimes if they're not selling good products, but that's how we raise money to support the cause that the channel is meant to support. And thank you to everybody that donates in Venmo and the super chats. Now let's get to it. This is what Demetrius Andrade is talking about. Now, he says that he's very happy having moved with Eddie Hearn. He said, my situation is great right now. Had I not made the move with Eddie, I would have been fighting in England, having tune-ups, or waiting around still. I never needed tune-ups. I take every fight very seriously. I have since day one. I could have waited around and had tickovers. Instead, this world title chance came along, and we're on the road to the top in another division already. I think the middleweight can be the new glamour division in boxing. We have big names at 160. If you look at 154, those guys are going to grow and they'll have to move up. They have to come up. Look at Jarrett Hurd. He's a big dude. The division is getting hotter and it's going to get hot. It's getting hotter and it's going to get hotter. If everyone involved with the elite does their jobs, we can make these fights. The window is starting to close on the fights. People get old, people move on, and people look to run around and fight lesser guys like the Charlos do. I don't look forward to those. I don't look forward to those fights. I want to fight the best. Only and often when I was at 154, I had a belt and couldn't get the big fights. We're all gonna make money. So let's decide who's the best. Let's get the elite in with the elite. Don't get in with has-beens or guys on the way out. Get in with hungry guys. I'm at 160 now and I'm still the biggest, baddest wolf out there. I'm ready to bite. I am too old to fight nobodies. I've had that time. It's not gonna. I'm not gonna fight. I'm not going to fight iron every time. I'm not sure what that means. So anyway, he's shooting shots at the Charlos. And I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? Where are these top-notch dudes that you fought? Now, by the way, let me say this first. Demetrius Andrade can fight. That's a good fighter. Boo Andrade is one of the best fighters out there as far as his talent wise. He's 30 years old. He's got 25 fights, 16 KOs. But look, man, what he's talking and what his BoxRec says are two completely different things. You got Walter Kantadokwa. He's fighting now for the WBO, the vacant WBO title. Before that, he fought Atlantis Fox. Before that, he fought Jack Culkay. Before that, he fought Willie Nelson. Before that, he fought Fabian Puchetta. And before that, he fought Brian Ross. And before that, he fought Vanis Martirosyan back in 2013. Okay, I'm not going to go into the other lead-in portion of his career. Just go for the last 5 years. Okay, for the last 5 years, the best win on his record in the last 5 years was a split decision win over Vanis Martirosyan, or was it Willie Nelson? I'm not sure who the better one was between Vanis Martirosyan and Willie Nelson. But he could have had either a loss on his resume or his best win against Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo, who Demetrius Andrade was set to fight, but pulled out because he was made a promise by Rock Nation Sports that they were going to match the offer that was coming to him from Showtime. And so he pulled out of the fight, left Jermell Charlo holding the bag, didn't get his fight that World Boxing, Rock Nation had promised him, and he ain't really fought anybody since. So my thing is, but if you look at Jermell Charlo and Jermell Charlo, these are two guys that are looking for the big fights. You got the you got the WBC 154-pound champion Jermell Charlo, who has, let me see if any of these guys, Austin Trout, Erickson Lubin, and Charles Hatley, all three of those guys could be argued to be better fighters than anybody that Demetrius Andrade has beat. Maybe that's the guy that they're talking about has-beens. But is Demetrius, how can you talk about somebody fighting a has-been when Demetrius Andrade was fighting never was's? So, I'm looking forward to seeing what Demetrius Andrade can do when Demetrius Andrade fights. I'm sorry, man. Walter, and I'm just going to say Walter because I definitely don't want to disrespect this man by continuing to kill his name. But a dude has never fought outside of Africa before. We'll see how that fight goes. If he wins that fight, he'll be the WBO champion, right? So he'll now be one of 3 champions, or is it 4 champions? The WBC and the WBA, right? So you got Canelo Alvarez. You will have another vacant belt is either going to be Danny Jacobs or Deverenchenko. And then you're going to have Demetrius Andrade. So is Demetrius Andrade either going to give Billy Joe Saunders a shot at the title if he wins this fight? Is he going to fight Danny Jacobs and Deverenchenko? Or is he going to get Canelo? Canelo look like, I don't know who Canelo's going to fight, right? But I'm not going to blame the Charlos, just like I don't blame I don't blame any guy like Jermell Charlo that's trying to get in the ring with the best, but the best fighters with the biggest names out there won't fight him. That is at 160. That's the case with Jermell Charlo. I would bet you, man, I'm almost willing to put money that Canelo Alvarez is not going to fight him. Canelo Alvarez might stay at 168 pounds before he fights Jermell Charlo for that WBC belt. I believe that Daniel Jacobs might be willing to do it. I know there's something that was out there said about Daniel Jacobs and Charlo. But look, man, it's definitely getting to be now where I do agree with Demetrius Andrade is the 160 is, man, it's a deep division. It's really good at the top. Between Billy Joe Saunders, Demetrius Andrade, Danny Jacobs, And Deverenchenko, I don't know who's going to win that fight. Now I'm saying I don't know who's going to win that fight, which is telling you that I think that that's a good fight. I'm lean towards Danny Jacobs because of his experience. Deverenchenko doesn't have, I think, only has 12 professional fights, so but it should be a good fight. And then you have Canelo Alvarez, of course, and you got Jamal Charlo. And then you got Gennady Golovkin. If Gennady Golovkin is going to actually, if Gennady Golovkin is going to get in with those young dudes. But I do believe that Gennady Golovkin is the older guy that, is going to be moving on, is going to be retiring soon. There's not a lot left in the tank for Gennady Golovkin. And, if Gennady Golovkin winds up fighting some of these bigger middleweights, younger middleweights, he could find himself in a problem, because I don't know if he's going to have the same hunger to prepare and get ready for these guys in the later stages of his career as he would against, Canelo Alvarez, where, he had to be super pumped for that fight. It was a big money fight, a big rivalry, a lot of drama around the fight. He felt like he had been ripped off in the fight before, but I just don't see that he's going to be. I think there's a significant chance that Gennady Golovkin could be going out the door. But now, me disagreeing with Demetrius Andrade about his desire or any past history to support his claim that he wants to fight the best, right? Or anything that separates him and his resume from Jermell Charlo, I'm not buying that. So anyway, it is what it is. Now let me go into this last little minute in this and say this. This is to subscribers that give me videos, send me videos when other people are making videos about me. I guess, I used to think it was just one person that would do these videos about me, and it's just because that's what that guy does. I'm not going to say the name of the people, but it's just what that guy does. He does it to everybody, and he's kind of looking for some type of feedback, and it pretty much just happened when, I stopped paying attention to him. But as of late, I've been getting people sending me videos from other black guys who are making videos, and I'll go listen to them if somebody tells me to go listen to them. But here's my thing, and this is why I don't think it's really important to feed these guys very much. I don't lack confidence in who I am. I would not call myself an arrogant person, but I don't lack confidence in who I am. And I'm going to say what I think, what I believe, to the best of my ability, as clearly as I possibly can, after I've thought out the situation to the best, to the best that I can. I'll think about my opinion on a subject matter, and then I'm going to say what I think, and then I'm going to let the chips fall where they may. There's a kind of a tendency in our community, and here I'm talking about, us. Shout out to the LDBC, shout out to New Media, shout out to Black American fight fans. There's a certain section of the population that aren't very confident in who they are, and they feel it necessary to be an apologist not only for, but to people that have who don't necessarily think that highly of us. And I don't know if it's just subconscious with them. In some cases, it's conscious. Other cases, it's unconscious. But whatever the case is, you will see them consistently feeling as if they have to defend other people. They have to try to make that demographic of people feel comfortable with them. And since I believe that they have an inferiority complex, they find it necessary to attach themselves and seek out praise from, and it's not just praise, but there's, what's the word? When you approval of people that they feel inferior to. I don't feel superior or inferior to anybody. Any individual. Now, individual things, yes. If I'm in a boxing match with Terrence Crawford and I'm about to fight him, I might all of a sudden start feeling a little insecure. All right? But I'm just saying that as far as this conversation on YouTube goes and boxing goes, I believe what I believe. I'm going to share what I believe. I'm going to tell you the information, give you the facts that I would use to support my conclusion. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there flat. That is going to upset people in the dynamic that don't like people like me to be very confident or to have their opinions. And I think that as far as the LDBC goes, that is the one thing that irritates these people more than anything, is that people in the LDBC, people who listen to the videos, people that make the videos are very self-assured. They believe what they believe. They believe it strongly. They're willing to make the argument for what they believe and say it. And they're going to say it. And if you don't agree with it, you don't agree with it. Good for you. But they're very self-assured. And that offends and that disturbs it disturbs a certain set of people. And that's why you start hearing them say things like, you think you're better than us. They are being this or they're being that. I'm not going to use those words, but when they think that they should be above you, when you act like you're equal to them, it throws them off and they feel like they've got to try to find a way to say, oh, being equal acts like they start feeling as if and talking like as if you think you're better than them, but you're just self-assured in what you believe. That's the way that I take it. But you have that certain group of people that feel like they have to apologize for my behavior. Like Fanon is out here thinking this, and I got to make sure I let everybody know that I don't think like he thinks. And so they're trying to get the approval of those people, and that's on them. I don't particularly care. They can knock themselves out, but at the end of the day, they're going to be unhappy people, because when you feel like you're less than other people and you feel like you've got to you've got to be an apologist for people like you, to people that you have an inferiority complex about, that's a very uncomfortable way to live. And I feel sorry for them. So I'm not going to get too upset with them. I might say something every once in a while, but really, more than anything, no matter how loud they talk, how often they talk, I feel sorry for them, because it's not fun going through your life feeling insecure. You know what I mean? So anyway, it is what it is. And with that, I'm out. Peace.